Good evening and welcome to the Sheila New Comedy Show. I am your host, Sheila New, and I am joined right now of one third of two-thirds of us, myself and my super producer friend Wanda Rose, and hopefully we'll get our other super producer friend Candace Murphy Sizak in the building this evening. And welcome to season 5, episode 1 of Breaking News. I want to shout out our corporate sponsor, Wassy Dassy Bags and Accessories. I also want to give a shout out to all of those who have definitely contributed by being sponsors of the show. And you can find all of that information if you just go to the link up top to the SheilaNewComedyShow.com. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see how you can collaborate, get merchandise, and also support us on our social media platforms. And also shout out to the individuals that have definitely poured into us and get our comic book too. So our sponsors are Fave Unite TV, Laurel Hill Productions, Energy Yoga and Meditation, Sisak Law Group, also Ron Winston Entertainment. Shout out to Ron, 616 Studios NYC, Gullah from the Heart, and Ernest the Artist, which is a local artist there and down in Louisiana. We definitely want to shout out to them because they look out for us. How you been?
I've been good. It hasn't been that long. Just all time for a new season. We took a break. Now we're
Yes.
ready to start season 5.
Yes, definitely excited about season 5 and all the things. It's just been crazy. Definitely shout out to Candace and definitely shout out to my faves that's in the audience. Hey y'all, hey. And look, if anybody knows me, y'all already know who they are. It's BB and S, honey. This is what we do. So they already know, and I love and appreciate their support for sure. So as we get kicked off for season 5 and we talking about breaking news, man, listen, it's been so much that has happened since we last touched base in November of 2024. We wrapped up, I want to say right after the election, it was like heavy. And then we moved into a very somber holiday season and all the things, and still trying to make sense of what has taken place, right? From the time before or during the debates and through the debates and after the election and all the stuff. Let me start by saying anything that we say, we are expressing our own views and opinions. We don't always have to agree, but we're just here expressing our freedom of speech, if you will. And this is for entertainment purposes only. So please do not take offense, even if you're listening to it afterwards, because I know we done pissed as meaning we, meaning the United States. We just happen to be citizens, okay? So we just laying back and in the cut and we watching all the shenanigans and all the things going on. But it's so much that has happened in this short period of time. And we are just only in the second month of this year. But the shit is crazy already. What you say about it, Wanda? What you think?
Yeah, it's the second month of the year, but it's been a lot happening in 2 months. I feel like we already been through 12 months.
It's heavy. It's definitely been heavy. And this is crazy. And it's like it started off first RIP to Jimmy Carter. I'm going to say he was the people's president and the president's president because of who he was as an individual. He was a true believer in service and what he did for the people. Even his homegoing ceremony, if you want to call it that, hey, this is what we call it. It was definitely something to behold. It was wonderful to see all the previous presidents that were there and even the one that's in the seat now. They shaded him real bad. But hey, that's a topic for a different day. But I definitely wanted to say that even in tragedy as a country, we know that we can pull it together. But right now, I don't even know if we really have the wherewithal and the fortitude. I believe we do as people because we're familiar with struggle and things not going our way all the time. But it's a lot of people who this is new too, and they don't know how to act. You firing people, you got planes falling out the sky, And like I said, we only just in February. And to Wanda's point, it already feel like hell, we done carried the heaviest load ever. And we just at the precipice of things going on. I think we just gotta hold on tight. And sometimes I don't even want to. Kendrick said in the song, turn the TV off, turn the TV. That's what I want to do. Turn the TV off because I get so tired of listening to the news and all the things that's going on, but at the same time, it draws you in because you just want to see now what kind of stupid stuff is going to be said or done at this point that really is impacting everybody's life. So, what you got, Wanda?
Yeah, I know this show is all about the news, and usually the news, you think news boring. But I think the news so far in 2025 has been pretty exciting. Every day there's been something that's been new
Hmm.
and the unexpected. Last year we had Cat Williams started off the year. I'm not sure what started off this year. It was so much that started off this year with a bang.
Yeah. I think well, Cat foretold, right? He like foretold the story with the celebrities and all the things that happened, and a lot of that stuff did come to fruition, right? Like a lot of things that he said, he stepped on a lot of people's toes, and everybody had their little turn at Club Shade. And those ones who wanted to have their turn, even Shannon Sharp himself had a little faux pas going on too, on his own stuff. But hey, that's a story that we've already covered. If you want to listen to it, go back through season 4. We definitely talked about the shenanigans of Mr. Sharp. But it's so much. I mean, it wasn't a comedian per se that kicked it off for the year 2025. I think the whole election snowballing from November, getting again through the holidays, and then here we are at the inauguration and all the things. But I have a question. So, a lot of people got on Nelly, Snoop, Soldier Boy for participating in the festivities that led up to the inauguration. So apparently, it's a whole bunch of parties and stuff that go on before the actual president is sworn in into office. And then they did something different this year that they haven't done ever. They held it inside because of the weather in DC was so crazy because normally the inauguration happens outside and it's a whole big to do, right? But they ain't do that this year. So what you say about the stars that have performed? A lot of them say they felt honored. They didn't care who the president was. I guess some people look at it, it was, money involved and they were paid to do it, and maybe it was a wonderful amount of money or whatever it was. But as my granny used to say, all money ain't good money. So what you say about that, Wanda?
I think for myself, if I had been invited, I probably would have turned it down just because I would have had a difficult time when if you look at what you believe in and don't believe and what you support and don't support. And I get when people say there's an honor just because it's a president. So I'm not going to knock them because they did it. I just probably would not have done it.
Yeah, I get that too. I think that it has to align with what you believe in because every sitting president or the previous presidents, you may not always agree with their views and their opinions. But one thing, if you pay attention though, because they played like clips of George Bush, the older, his son Clinton when Obama came, even though he was of a different party, but they all came in and showed solidarity. And they said, no matter what party you belong to, we still want to see whoever holds this position be successful. So I thought that was cool because it shouldn't matter if you bleed red or bleed blue, depending on Republican, Democrat, or even independent or the Green Party or whatever the case may be. But if whoever the people's choice was, you still want the previous presidents to be supportive because I think they still lean on each other. I have not seen any of that in this particular presidency. And I know we only at the beginning, but the only people that I've seen in the Oval Office so far is people who aren't even of American descent, right? It's the person whose name that I won't say, but y'all know because y'all watch the news, right? So you see him in the White House in the Oval Office nonetheless. He's definitely dressed down. He don't have no suit on. He got a ball cap on, and he brought his young son. And if y'all peep what the little boy was saying. Even the scripture said, out of the mouth of babes. This little boy is cussing literally at the president of the United States and telling him that his ass ain't the president. What you got to say about that? Because I thought that was funny.
I don't think the little boy was saying that. I think he was just being a kid. He just happened to be there. But I think he is probably the gift they keep giving because he fit in with the narrative. And sometimes God gives you gifts, and a lot of people say that was a gift because he was saying some things that might not be appropriate for kids to say that they had to hear an adult say.
Oh, he definitely did that. He was cussing. Because whoever was working the mics, they was making sure they was filtering and pushing out all the background noise because they wanted to hear. Even if he didn't necessarily say non Sunday school words, he definitely said, "You not the president. You're not even supposed to be sitting in that chair." So, like you said, children are like little tape recorders, especially that young of age. They repeat everything that they hear, good, better, and different. And they always do it at the most inappropriate times, like when you don't want their ass to say nothing. That's when they gonna say it. And that's exactly what happened in that particular situation. But I didn't even bother watching the inauguration. Did you watch it?
I did watch it off and on because I wanted to. I was just nosy. I wanted to see what happened, how people were reacting. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch it intently. I'm just like I really want to see everything that happens. So I watched it off and on. It was nothing spectacular. We know Michelle Obama didn't come to the inauguration, and we had the new president and his family, and we had the vice president and his family, which I think they have cute kids and they have a nice looking family. So it was, but I didn't watch it intently because I didn't really, there's nothing I really wanted to hear. But I was just being nosy. And I know we were supposed to not watch it, and I'm not supportive of it at all, but I just was being nosy, so I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. And sometimes you do want to check the temperature, right? And see what's really going on in those spaces and places. But I'll tell you the truth. I believe that January 20th was on paid holiday day off because it was also the day that we recognize Martin Luther King's birthday. So to me, I thought, and I know it's the same time every year, and a lot of people was making an uproar about that. But if even if you go back historically, that time frame and that particular holiday usually falls around the same time it's always done on the third Monday of January. It's been like that historically forever. So if sometimes, MLK Day and that day will coincide with each other, but sometimes people like to take a small thing and blow it up to make it a big thing. But I think that's when we rely too much on like social media and stuff. Like I need people to really start picking up books and doing research and not let's get worked up over the stuff that need to be worked up over and let's leave like the small slighty stuff to the side. Like right now, we got planes falling out the air. What you say, Wanda? You traveling this year?
I'm like, there's a comedian that comes on and he talk about the fact that he had shows in Dallas, he had a show in Atlanta, and I can't remember where he lived at, but he was driving all to all his shows. So I think I heard something tonight that that pilots are afraid to fly right now. So if they're afraid to fly, I don't think I want to be flying right now.
Wait a minute, you saying that the pilots are saying they scared to get in the
That's
plane?
that's
And
what
they the one who drive the plane?
that's what I heard today, and
Wow.
I heard that pilots are afraid to fly right now. So that tells
See,
me that I might need to be afraid to fly too right now.
no, real
Not a good
talk.
thing.
And yes, and right now flights going anywhere are hella expensive, for a lot of different reasons. They going up, the price of gas going up. But one thing you have to really think about and keep in mind with everything that's going on, with a lot of people like losing their jobs and stuff like that's gonna rock the economy on a whole different level because people are not gonna be spending so frivolously now because money getting ready to be tighter, right? So we got to really think about what it is. And one more thing, because you already know I'm in the great state of Michigan right now. Snow is inevitable in the north, right? And New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, all of us states up here per se, Jersey, Boston. All of these other places are used to snow. Now we've had some snow in the south. And matter of fact, where you are, y'all had some snow. So we'll say I think God just saying I'm gonna disrupt the climate. You got the fires going out west, and then you got freezing temperatures on this side. How you feel about the snow?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I left DC because I didn't like the snow, and to have snow in Louisiana, that was pretty weird. And we had snow. We were stuck inside for about 3 or 4 days, and we had forgot. I think we had about 8 to 9 inches of snow, and that was a lot. And so I think God, maybe
Yeah,
God
that's
just
a
needed
lot for
us to
y'all.
rest.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe He just said you guys need to rest, take a break, and so we had to sit down for a few days because we're in New Orleans. They don't salt the road, so you just have to sit till they thaw out. You stuck.
Oh
And so
wow, see, that's different. So y'all not really prepared, right? It's one thing to deal with the water because y'all have that, right? So you have the levees and the things of that nature. So when it comes down to snow, because y'all so deep south, I guess it would make sense if you're not used to having it. Why would you have things that like us? They salt the roads, clear the roads, they pre-treat the roads even before a big winter storm is pressing this way. It's just a whole lot of things that we go through in order to be ready. So I guess yeah, that makes sense. But
no,
yeah.
they don't do all that here. They just be like, it's gonna snow and
It's
you gonna
no
shut it down. Schools closed, work closed, stay
mm,
off the road. There's a curfew.
see. And you know what? I ain't even mad at that because that do keep you safe, right? So as we trip, because going back down, because y'all had one of the biggest events that happened, and it happens every year. A city has the honor and the privilege to have the Super Bowl. So y'all had the Super Bowl the first Sunday in February. How you feel about that?
Yeah, we had the Super Bowl, and it was Super. They had the Super Bowl here before, in the last time they had the Super Bowl, what the Saints played in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the last time the Super Bowl was here, and so it was a lot of people here. I think people that live here when we have big events, we be ready for people to go. But they did clean up real good, and the streets looked nice, and we didn't have. It wasn't as dangerous as it was the last time we had an event like doing New Year's. We had something that happened. It wasn't good, so it was pretty safe and a lot of security, and it went well overall.
No, I'm glad. And the crazy part about it, y'all had something, another thing. I know that the Super Bowl, as you stated, has been played in Louisiana before, as it has a lot of, because every state is on a rotation, right? But one thing y'all had that y'all haven't had never ever, because it never has been a thing, is y'all had the person who took the office that was sworn in on January to make an appearance and he called for the Kansas City Chiefs to win. They might want to think about that next time. Quit shaking hands with people. Stay focused on the game. But congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm glad that I was pulling for the Eagles to win because the Eagles took out the team that took out the Lions. I was definitely rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles, so I was glad. And it was a one hell of a game. It was great to see Patrick Mahomes got shook. Poor Patrick. But enjoy your daughter. He had a new baby, him and his wife. So you know you live to fight another day. This just wasn't no three-piece season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, Philly made sure that they made all the noise. So I was glad to see that. And I enjoyed thoroughly. Okay, let's be clear. And if you was here at the top of the show, you know that K Dot, I am a fan for sure. I think his music is wonderful, and I think he did one hell of a halftime show. What you feel about the halftime show?
Yeah, I enjoyed the halftime show. The first time I saw it, I wasn't paying attention. I think when it was actually going on in halftime, I was like, I don't know, but and then I went back and watched it again, and it had a lot of good messaging, and I thought it was a really good show. I thought it was a really good halftime show, and it has the most views of any halftime show in history of the Super Bowl. So that's pretty cool. And I think it's
Mm,
probably elicited the most discussion from any Super Bowl halftime show as well. Because people still talking about the Super Bowl
yeah,
halftime show and people still interpreting it. I think at some point it's going to be taught in college classes like what happened at the Super Bowl in 2025, this halftime show, and what did it really mean?
definitely a master class was being taught. about one of this generation's prolific lyricists. He's just not gimmicky. And that's one thing that I respect about his artistry. Absolutely, the messaging was on point, and if you missed it, that means that you was just worried about that one song, right? Not like us, but it was bigger than that. If you was paying attention to everything from even from the Grand National that he came out on, because that particular year of vehicle denoted the year of his birth when he was born, right? So it was a whole lot. I thought it was pretty dope for him to have Samuel L. Jackson be a part of it and Serena Williams. I thought all of it, and SZA too. All of these little nuances played a big part. So I was glad to see that he did, and I'm glad that it is the most gives you get you to talk about things in a different perspective. It's not I didn't think he exploited women. They were dressed well. They wasn't it wasn't about twerking and dropping and rocking and rolling and whining and all of that. It didn't have anything to do with that. He was intentional about the message that he wanted to put out there, and the way that he did it, even Spike Lee ended up giving him a shout out for his reference of 40 Acres and a Mule. And it was so befitting, right? Because the Super Bowl happens in one of the shortest months of the year, but this is also Black History Month. And Kendrick Lamar made history in this month too because of he won 5 Grammys this year too. So it was just so much. And then to be invited to play. Now he made an appearance when Dr. Dre did the halftime show a couple of Super Bowls ago, right? Like he came out, 50 Cent came out, Eminem came out because it was all about Dr. Dre. Snoop was a part of that too. Mary J. Blige was too. So it was nice to see him have the opportunity to have center stage, if you will. So I was glad to know that regardless of who came, who doesn't normally come, but I was glad that none of that deterred an amazing Super Bowl halftime show and just an amazing Super Bowl period. So again, congratulations to Kendrick Lamar on his 5 Grammys and one of the, like you said, the most watched halftime shows ever to date, at least right now. And again, shout out and hats off for the most discussed halftime shows ever because hopefully people are really paying attention to the lessons that were being taught. And basically, in his fashion, he said he ain't scared. I ain't even mad. We ain't never scared. What? We ain't never. So I definitely appreciate that. And then, too, you posed a good question. And you said, who is the vice president? So who is he? And just to answer your question, no, I ain't seen no movie.
Oh, I'm not sure who the vice president is this year. I know who we elected, but I'm not really sure who the vice president is. The vice president who we elected, he wrote a book called Hillbilly Elegy. And I haven't had a chance to not. I read excerpts from the book, but I also saw the movie over the holidays, and it was interesting.
Okay.
It made me have a new respect for him, but it doesn't fit with the person that it doesn't. I don't. The person that the story is about doesn't align with the current
Who you
president.
saying?
No, it doesn't align because he came from a very humble background, and that person is not the person that I see right now.
You think that right now he could be being, I hate to use the word manipulated, but that's the word that comes up, right? So I think too, if you're not strong, because it was a question, I don't know if people peeped that the person who showed up in Louisiana for the Super Bowl had an interview as if he was playing in the Super Bowl because they normally interview past and present players. The whole thing will be about the Super Bowl is about football, right? People who played, people who've coached, people who have tenure, who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, blah, right? It's like everything football. So this particular individual who decided that he needed to be at the Super Bowl was interviewed, and one of the questions that he was asked, if something were to happen to him, does he think that JD Vance has what it takes to be his successor? And
And
he answered quite candidly, no.
yeah, I saw that. I was surprised when he answered quick too. He said, "Oh no."
Yeah, with no hesitation. He wasn't. He ain't mince no words. He ain't say, "Let me think about it." He just flat out said no. So then that begs the question: why did you pick him? If you didn't think he had the sauce to be able to step in if you something was to happen, right? Because that's one of the vice president's jobs, right? If something were to happen to the current sitting president, that they're supposed to be able to step up and fill in and be able to run the show per se. So if you didn't think he was capable, then what qualifications did he have? Did you choose him because he was pliable? What we talking about here? We got to think about it because right now we got to think about this thing as a whole. You starting to draw lines in the sand with relationships with countries, and shout out to all the countries that listen to this podcast. We appreciate y'all. We we ain't drawing no lines in the sand. This is a place and a space for everybody. You heard me. So laughter is infectious and it's medicine, and I hope we find the laughter and all the craziness going on. So I see that. But I appreciate the countries that are standing their ground too. So shout out to y'all for not just taking it. You feel me? Don't, sometimes you got to stand up to bullies at the end of the day. And if somebody pushing you in a way that you don't want to go, you got to push back to let them know, hey, you're going to be respected regardless of what's going on. You're going to make sure that you get down how you get down. And you got to make sure that I understand that you got a voice and all these things. But I just wanted to put that piece because we are listened to in other spaces outside the United States of America. And we got friends in Canada, and we got some in Mexico, and we got some across the pond and on the continent and beyond. So I want to make sure that we make sure that this space is still a space for everybody, regardless of who seems to be driving the ship for the U.S. right now. But Wanda, you got anything to say about the VP or well, you said it. But what about that man? You said they might be calling him President who?
I don't know about the VP, but I think I've been proud of other countries, as you mentioned. I've been definitely proud of Canada. Canada's been definitely holding their own, and I keep waiting for Canada to turn the electricity off, the power off. And I know you
I'm
live
gonna
in
need you to stop
Detroit,
saying that.
and so
So
I mean, I want Canada to turn the power off.
I'm gonna need
Power.
to listen to our friends in Canada. Don't do us like that. If you're gonna turn it off, y'all need to hit everybody. I need all 50 states to go dark. If that's the case, not just us up here. Let's not play that game because right now it's cold and we already got problems. If you ain't paid attention, the state of Michigan on the southwest side of Detroit, shout out to them and all the people that are volunteering to help. But there was a huge water main break and it flooded the streets, cars, homes, everything. They can't even get onto the streets to get people aid, and some people are trapped. It's like prison of a different nature. You got people stuck in their house that can't even get out to get aid, and it's hard for people to even go and that. And if you fact check it, Google it, it's on the news, it's everywhere. But it's the craziest. It's like a scene from a movie that you ain't even think that this could be possible that something like this happened. And it's still so cold here that right now it's like a lot of people are not being able to get out of the muck and mire of that particular situation. So definitely to those workers and to those volunteers that are definitely helping to give people the resources that they need on the southwest side of Detroit. To all my compadres on that end, if you know anything about the southwest side, you know who hails that area. They got some of the best food of my brown brothers and sisters that hold it down on that side. Man, there's some good eating over there. So I definitely hope that they get back up and running real, real soon. But other than that, what else we got? Are you still watching the news? Because I know I watch the local news. That's how I know what's going on in my neck of the woods. Shout out to Al Roker.
Yeah, I still watch the news. There's a lot going on. You got to watch it sparingly because there's so much going on. And TikTok has been a good news source for me lately. If you want to watch independent news people, TikTok has really been good. And shout out to TikTok because it's still alive. TikTok, I don't know when TikTok was going to go dark, people were really upset about it. Because a lot of people make a living off of TikTok and it's become a good entertainment source and it's a business for people. And when TikTok was, they thought it was going to go out. Biden did say, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let it keep going. But TikTok decided it was going to go dark. And at midnight one night, it went, just before midnight, it went dark. And people had funerals. People were sad. People were upset that TikTok went away. But then it magically came back the next day. It's back for now, but I don't know how long it's going to be here.
No, that's a good point. I think that we have to really pay attention to what's really going on. And yeah, during that time, people lost their mind for that split second decision of turning it off and the messaging behind it. But see, you got to pay attention to all of these things, right? Because there's so many moving parts and there's so many moving pieces. And if you blink too many times, it's like you may miss it and it might be something that you really need to pay attention to. So you need to make sure that you stay focused. But I'm glad because I know that's one of the sources of social media that you enjoy. And eventually I will get there, but one thing at a time. But I'm definitely paying attention to my surroundings. And I think that's what we all can do. Don't think just because you might not have voted for a person doesn't mean that everything that's going on doesn't still impact you in one way or the other. It's just like the bird flu thing going on. Eggs is expensive, people going crazy. Now that it's just like the toilet paper situation when the pandemic first happened, right? People selling little squares on the corner, people was making little parodies about it. They doing the same thing with eggs, and now you don't even know if the eggs you buying are come from real chickens or if they come from pigeons or any other kind of fowl, right? So you gotta be mindful because people out here will hustle your ass real talk if you're not paying attention because you so focused on, oh my God, it's no eggs, or the eggs are $10. If you know, if you're not no big egg eater, if this not something that you do on a regular basis, don't worry about it. I think that's one of the things that, when I do my little spiel at the end, that I'm gonna help you through because I think we need to slow down enough to pay attention to the writing on the wall and not get so worked up about everything that's going on. But this is the last question that you asked, and I thought when I read it, I said, "Whoa!" whoa." I said, "This is really deep." So, question to our audience: do you find yourself wondering how someone voted? So think about it. When you in the grocery store, you in line at the car wash, you at the line at the oil change place, you in line, yeah, when you at work, you in a fast food joint, you at the movies, you walking through the mall, wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? Do you ever look at a person and say, damn, would we be in this mess if they voted differently? Or how did they vote? And you can tell how some people move like this don't impact them. But I'm finding it crazy entertaining that on social media that our counterparts are really trying to rally and they trying to have this battle cry thing going on. And then I'm finding even more humor in it because they getting upset because black people ain't upset. What we gonna be upset for? We told you we standing on business out here. We told y'all how it was going down. You wanted him, you got him. We gonna let y'all deal with it. Y'all gonna have to figure some shit out. You don't like it right now. Oh, you asked for it, you got it, Toyota. Okay, that's an old tagline. And shout out to the foreign car people for Toyota for that old school commercial. But look, that's what you asked for. So sometimes, old school people would tell you, you got to be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. So now you got it. So now you got to live with it. It's uncomfortable, ain't it? You don't like it, do you? We don't know what to tell you, but we gonna sit back and we gonna watch the show because y'all very entertaining. And like I said, this is only the third week of the second month of the new year. We ain't even finished February. And to be honest, Did y'all even want to celebrate Valentine's Day? Did it have that same ring to it? Was y'all excited about it? Is y'all really celebrating love out here? What is really going on? I'm just saying, what
Yeah,
y'all doing?
it's a lot going on, and I know when I find myself talking to people, I'll think, I wonder how they voted. I'll get mad because I think I know how they voted. It makes me want to
See,
be like, I just have to. You have a whole different attitude with people sometimes. I know you voted for them. I know you did.
yeah. The thing is that we gotta pay attention to everything that is going on, and we just gotta keep things moving in the way we should have them moving in the right directions. Again, be careful what you ask for, because you might get it and you got it. So here we are.
But you know,
So
I had some on a positive note. We
go
had a
ahead.
lot of negative. We got to find the bright side. Wendy Williams is about to be free, I think.
And it's sad when you say it like that, because it's like she been held captive, and she, in a sense, I guess she had. But I heard something disturbing. I heard her son was the reason that all of that got
Well,
started. Now I don't know how true that
I think in
is.
some ways he was being a kid. You know how you parents money and you like, let me go. I'm gonna go spend a little more money than what they think I spent. And
Yeah,
I
but to
really
put
think
your mama in captivity, I
no,
mean,
I
come
don't think
on,
he put
yeah.
her. No, I don't think he put her in. I don't think he knew that was gonna happen. I think that
But see, that's the thing, though. I don't think nobody thinks through the process. But she did get a chance to go down to Miami to celebrate her father's birthday, and I know that he's in his, I want to say, early 90s, somewhere in there. So definitely shout out to Mr. Williams and happy birthday to him
yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean,
But I think it's a blessing for sure.
I really think it was one of the instances where you do something and you be like, oh, this might not be what I should have did as a kid, as a teenager, because he
Yeah,
was
but he
young.
grown
No,
though.
at the time he was like 18 when that happened, like 17, 18. And so I
Yeah,
think
but young people Google everything, but I guess they don't Google and wait for the answer, right? They
I don't
just
think I don't. He probably didn't think the
he
bank
didn't
because I
think
think
it through. He
yeah, I
definitely
think
didn't think it
he
through.
spent more money. But they actually then I also read something recently where it was he had ordered a different boat and they sent the wrong one that cost more. I read that too, so I don't know which story is right, but she seemed to be okay with him. So I think I read something that said it was the wrong. They sent the wrong boat that cost more, and then he had spent a lot of money on Uber Eats and food, and then the bank was like, "Hey, there's a problem here," and that's how. And then they couldn't get in contact with her. She didn't call him back, and that's what triggered everything. I don't for some reason I don't see him as a because they seem really close, and he still see I don't see him as someone. I think he was young and stupid.
Yeah, yeah, but
Because
I mean, but you got
when you have that kind of money, they probably spend money like that. To us, we think, oh, that's a lot. But the
yeah,
Kardashians, I'm sure they spend that same kind of money.
yeah, but they ain't putting their mama.
But he didn't put her in there. The Wells Fargo alerted. He didn't do it.
Right, but I mean, for them to not even do no fact checking, that's what's so disturbing that somebody could get the ball rolling on something and
Yeah.
then nobody is doing their due diligence. I got a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that means that for any kid that's mad at any parent or want to do some facetious stuff, I mean, that all you got to do is pick up a phone and ain't nobody fact checking.
Because
Ain't nobody trying to do their due diligence.
her not having access to money didn't benefit him. It hurt him too. So it hurt all of us. So
Exactly. But the
I
whole
don't
thing
think.
is, I think she was going through a lot too,
Yeah,
because
so she couldn't
she
even
was her
protect herself
marital
because
thing.
she was going through a
Exactly.
lot. So she couldn't even. She wasn't
Exactly.
on top of it either. So I think she couldn't defend
No,
herself at the time.
no.
But I don't
He was very vulnerable and he took
Yeah.
advantage of the vulnerability,
Yeah.
which I
Like I
think,
said, I think he was young and stupid. I really think he was young and just did some stupid stuff and it went too far. And you're like, oh crap,
yeah.
I don't know
And
this.
hopefully he'll learn and they get past it. But now I hope that what she does is put some things in place, right? It's just you can protect your passwords through the bank by doing certain extra steps other than two-step verification. It's a whole bunch of things that you can do. And then two, I think the financial institutions need to do better in vetting to not just take a person's word for it that, oh, my mom is crazy and we should lock up her bank account because she's incompetent. You know what I'm saying? Like
But I
somebody
don't think he
really
did. But
needs to.
that's not what he did. He didn't do that. The bank just said the bank alerted the courts. They filed something. He didn't do that.
But right, but why would the bank file something? Because that's a lot of the process to go through. Because you're basically saying this person is incapable of taking care of their money that they made. You know what I'm saying? But for the courts to say that, what actions did she? What did she do to exhibit that the courts will get involved and agree with the bank and then shut her out of her own stuff. That don't make sense to me. It's just like the processes that we do before we do anything adverse to anybody, right? We have to make sure that we do our due diligence. We just can't go in and say, hey, we want to lock this down just because, you know what I'm saying? We got to make sure that all our I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But and if they not, then it's a problem.
Actually, to go in a garnishment is not that hard. So once they alerted the bank, then they had a court hearing, and they do certain things. At the time, she was out of it, so they did an evaluation, determined that she needed more assistance. And once you get into that process, it's hard to get out. So I'm just excited that she was on the Breakfast Club, and she sounded really good. She
No, she
sounded,
did. And she was on TMZ. The person, Harvey Levy,
yeah,
him and her are really good friends. And he advocated for her hard too. He's an attorney too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like she has some really dope people behind her to make sure that first and foremost, the thing that happened that she wanted most of all was to go spend time with her dad, and she was able to get that.
So I'm just hoping we'll see more of her. And she's been on the Breakfast Club a couple times.
Oh, for sure. And I think and she had a lot to say about a lot. Wendy Williams made her money and breaking certain things going on in the news. So definitely for sure. Let's see. So top five things for this season. What you say?
I
And we
think you just
still at the season.
I think you just gotta breathe and you gotta rest because we're supposed to be resting. 92% devoted, we're supposed to be resting. But I think resting is a sign of protest in the same.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't watch too much news. I'm a news fanatic. I like the news. I like
Yeah.
politics. But even I have to limit myself because it can be overwhelming. It's a lot.
And the one thing that I would add to that is be mindful on how you spend your money and who you spend it with. It's still your money, you still making it. So be intentional. Be intentional about the brands you support. Do some research. It might take you a couple of extra steps, but do that. Do you really want to support people who don't support you? That's a big thing. So I think that's part of what's been going on this Black History Month too.
Because we
Just a
even,
lot of big box stores has been put on the block.
yeah, we didn't even talk about a lot's been going on. We didn't even talk about Target. Target was a big proponent
Yep.
of selling black products, and then they
Yep.
said, no, we're not going to do it. Then they lost a lot of money, even though they came back. Oh, yeah, we'll do it. But people still not supporting Target, and they have really lost a lot of money.
They got to think about it because these brands and these people have loyal following on social media and otherwise, right? And so, and people want to be supportive. So instead of going to the store and buying the product straight off the shelf, they just been diverting their attention and going straight to the person's website and just, clearing it out there as they should. I think you have to make a stand because what the old adage say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So you got to make sure that you are intentional about everything that you're doing. Again, how you spend your money, who you spend it with, what brands you support. Do your due diligence. Exercise your right to withhold the money. Sometimes you can say a lot doing very little, and the very little is not saying that it's little, but by withholding your money and being intentional about where you shop, be it the grocery stores, the big box stores, your neighborhood gas station, all the things. If people don't have the mental fortitude to be nice and to appreciate the fact that you are patronizing a business, that might not be somebody you want to break bread with. So you got to be mindful and all the things. And I just want to say, and for this to be on record, I won't go into detail, but I did check our text and definitely shout out to Candace and her husband. And our thoughts and prayers are with you again. I won't go into detail because that's her business, but because Candace is a huge part of what we do here, I wanted to lend my voice, and my prayers are definitely with you and your family. So definitely much love to Candace Murphy Sisak, and we hope to have her back when we come back for episode 2 of season 5 next month as we wind down. So continue to celebrate, honey. I tell people, look, yes, Black History Month is in the month of February, but just as they say, I'm black, black. I celebrate Black history 365 days a year, 66 days if it's a leap year. You heard me? So I'm not turning down no time soon. So the celebration continues. Again, shout out to my dad who's celebrating his birthday tomorrow, and definitely shout out to our super announcer, Jay Twiz, whose birthday is next Wednesday. My baby will be 34 in the building, and she is performing out in Vegas next week. So definitely shout out to her. And Wanda, before I go into the word of the wise, do you have anything?
Just want to hear your word from the wise so we can end the show. And this has been a great first show of season 5 and can't wait to do the next one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, again, happy Black History Month. Happy 2025. We are so happy to grace your presence once again. And thank you to my faves for offering their service by being here and holding space with us. Listen, it's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? We had a lot of great things happen even at the beginning of the year once you look at it. I'm the type of person that likes to look at the glass being half full as opposed to it being half empty, right? I'm gonna find the good in everything, no matter even if it's cloudy outside and the snow coming down and it's a fire burning. I'm always look for the positive in it, right? So we're still here. We still have breath. We will just take your time, breathe, pay attention to your surroundings, be intentional about everything that you do. Still celebrate. Figure out who you want to support and then go do that. Support them. Be honest and genuine in everything you do, but still pay attention. Keep your head on the swivel. If you need to be in before the street lights come on, be in before the street lights come on. Pay attention, right? We are here because we're supposed to be. We impact this nation on so many different levels. We have made our own alliances and our own kindreds with people across all kind of diasporas, and we're going to continue to do so. I don't care who is driving the ship called the United States of America. I don't care if he want to change the name of this and he poking fun at this person and that person, and he trying to get lines drawn in the sand with our partners in Canada and Mexico and across the water. Trust me, they standing up for themselves, so that means we got to continue to stand up too. Because believe it or not, they standing up with us. Because they poking their chest out and say, we won't be bullied and we won't back down. And Kendrick said, turn the TV off. Take a deep breath. Make sure that you are paying attention to all the things that are important to you. Spend some time with your family. Laugh, live, and love a lot because it's going to keep you through all of this mess. And I'm not saying who you pray to or who you pray for because that's your business and we ain't got nothing to do with that either. But all I'm asking you to do, if that's your life and that's what you do, a lot of that because you need that too. Just be balanced in everything that we do and don't let nobody take you off your square. Just know everything that you have to be great, you already possess on the inside of you, and don't ever let nobody tell you different. And with that being said, we'll see y'all for episode 2 of season 5 next month, and we'll see you when we see you. Peace.
Good night.